November 20, 1980. Iberia, Louisiana. A drilling rig drilled a hole in the wrong place. The lake above started draining into the salt mine below. The river that fed the lake reversed direction. A waterfall appeared where there had never been one. Nobody died. Lake Peigneur is a small freshwater lake in Iberia Parish, Louisiana, in the southern United States. Before 1980, it was about 3 meters deep at its deepest point and covered roughly 500 acres. It was used for fishing and recreation, and it was, geologically, a typical bayou country lake. Beneath Lake Peigneur was the Jefferson Island salt mine. The Diamond Crystal Salt Company had been mining a massive salt dome, a column of salt extending downward into the bedrock, since 1922. The mine had multiple tunnel levels, with the deepest at over 400 meters below the lake surface. The tunnels were extensive. Diamond Crystal had been operating actively for decades. November 1980, Texaco had contracted with Wilson Brothers Corporation to drill an exploratory oil well from the surface of Lake Peigneur. The drill crew set up a barge-mounted rig in the lake. They began drilling on November 20. At about 6:30 in the morning, the drill bit became stuck at a depth of approximately 370 meters. The crew attempted standard procedures to free it. The drill string would not move. The crew tilted the rig to apply leverage. The rig itself began to tilt unexpectedly. The crew evacuated the barge. The barge sank into the lake. So did the next barge brought to assist. The drill had punctured the roof of the salt mine. The salt mine tunnels were dry. They had been pumped continuously for decades. The lake water above the puncture began to flow down into the mine through the puncture point. As the water entered the mine, it dissolved salt from the walls. The puncture grew larger. The water flowed faster. By mid-morning, the lake was draining into the mine at an accelerating rate. The mine workers, 55 of them, working multiple shifts that day, evacuated through their normal routes. All survived. Lake Peigneur was connected to the Gulf of Mexico by Delcambre Canal, a small bayou that flowed from the lake to the Gulf. As the lake drained, the canal reversed direction. Water from the Gulf began to flow into the lake to fill it. The reversal created a temporary 50-meter-tall waterfall on the canal. This is the only documented occurrence of a sustained Mississippi region waterfall in modern history. It lasted for several hours. The reversed flow filled the lake with seawater. The original freshwater lake was, within days, a saltwater lake. 11 barges that had been on Lake Peigneur were sucked into the mine through the growing puncture. They were never recovered. The Live Oak Gardens Botanical Garden, which sat on the lake's edge, lost trees, structures, and a portion of its grounds as the lake bed shifted. The Diamond Crystal Salt Mine was permanently destroyed. The mine had operated for 58 years. It never reopened. The company filed for, and ultimately received, insurance settlements. The Wilson Brothers drilling rig and one nearby barge sank in the initial event. Both were destroyed. The remarkable detail: nobody died. The 55 mine workers evacuated. The drilling rig crew abandoned the rig before it sank. 3 dogs were reported to have died in the event. Otherwise, all human and most animal casualties were avoided. The mine's standard safety procedures held under conditions they had never been designed for. Texaco and Wilson Brothers had been operating with maps that placed the salt mine in a different location. The exact cause of the location error has been disputed in subsequent litigation. Court filings allege that the survey calculations used by the drilling crew were misaligned with the actual mine layout by a small but significant distance. Texaco and Wilson Brothers paid out an estimated $32 to $40 million in settlements to the Diamond Crystal Salt Company, the property owners, and other affected parties. The exact totals were divided across multiple cases over several years. Lake Peigneur exists today as a saltwater lake, deeper than the original. It is approximately 6 times deeper than the pre-1980 lake. Sinkholes formed on the lake bed in the years after the disaster. The shape of the lake itself was permanently altered. A drill bit, a salt mine, a reversed bayou. Nobody died.